Yeah, nice, nice. Um, and you've been playing since like the start of, or the end of Overwatch 1, but also the start of Overwatch 2.
Yeah, yeah. They announced crossplay, I think, at last year Overwatch 1.
Oh, that's
Most of my
right.
friends were PC, so I never wanted to pay the $60 for the game
Yep.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so after that happened, I joined, and I've been playing console for a while now.
Cool, cool. Yeah, I didn't even realize when I first watched it. I was like, I feel like he's almost struggling a little at controlling the length of the dive sometimes, and I was like, it might be because he's using the joystick rather than just like pressing the key. Sometimes it can be tricky. Um,
Yo, that's a good point. I think usually I've got a lot of motion associated with my jumps.
yeah,
I've been noticing like escape jumps where I'll do the super big jump instead of a really quick one and stuff like that.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
hear you on that. I hear you on that.
And what do you think is like if you hit plat, do you think like you're satisfied and you just play casually with your friends, or do you think it's like a stepping
No,
stone?
oof. This is an interesting question because in like a theoretical sense, I would love to keep climbing,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like I've been stuck for so long that just seeing like a crack in the ice would make a pretty big difference
Yeah.
to just my mentality in general. So right now it's just, get one step up,
Mm-hmm.
sneak into plat would be great, but
Yeah, for sure.
um
Just to take a step forward in the right direction might change your whole mindset on things.
yes, that's exactly right.
Cool, cool.
That's what I'm hoping for.
You have a you have a good amount of playtime for it. How do you spend most of that playtime? Is it all comp minus the quick play warm up
Mm-mm-mm.
or
I kind of hit phases where I'll do a lot of quick play for like weeks and weeks, and I'll kind of get stuck in this mentality of I need to be in the perfect headspace to play comp, otherwise I'm just not going to climb.
yeah,
And so I'll go like weeks before I play a game of comp.
sure.
And then other times I'll slip into a headspace of it doesn't matter that much. You should play when you're good and when you're bad, and just see what happens. I'm in one of those right now, so I'm playing more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it goes back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's not an uncommon thing to get caught up in being like feeling like you have to be perfect to queue up for a ranked game. Um, but obviously, yeah, like you say, it's good to play on your good and bad. But obviously, if you have something like a super tiring day, and you just feel like you're not going to be switched on, and you just when you get into the ranked game, you're going to be going through the motions, then sometimes you can just cut yourself some slack, and maybe those are the days that you might do some self VOD review, or you might just play quick play, but still a bit more focused on like I'm just going to work on my bubbles, and then there's like the removed pressure of feeling like you have to win the actual game. But for the most
That's fair
part,
enough.
putting your time in ranked is a good thing. Um, and then as around these hours in game, you feel like you still maintain good hobbies and interests outside of the game, time
Oh
away from the
yeah, yeah,
screen.
yeah. I spend a lot of time in Overwatch, and there are some days where I play way too much of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I think other aspects of my life are pretty good. I don't think it's negatively impacted work or my relationship or other hobbies,
Yeah,
for the
awesome,
most part. So
awesome. Love to
I
hear
live
it.
in Portland, Oregon, so it gets rainy, and I think that leads to a lot more gaming on those days. But
Yep, yep. Well, I'm
yep,
the
yep.
opposite down here. It's sunny most of the time, and I don't enjoy the heat at all. So I envy the rainy days
Uh,
a lot. Um,
you could move to Portland, Oregon. It'd be great.
yeah, I might get more games
It
over there
rains
too.
two-thirds of the year.
Love that.
Uh, that might be true, yeah.
All right. Well, I thought I would. I'll just share my screen here. Thought we would go with the Rialto game. We can talk about the beam comp stuff at the end if we have time.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
but sometimes I did like look at that code and it's beam comp, but it's like oppressively anti-tank. Like not even anti-monkey, but like anti-tank to play like Sim Echo with a Mercy damage boosting either of them. It's like sometimes that's just rough, and it's about just playing your life a lot and just trying to absorb as much as you can for your DPS to pop off. especially
Mm-hmm.
if you are like hard and fast on playing something like a Winston compared to, I don't know, someone who handles beams slightly better than that, like a wrecking ball, or someone who can live a bit better. But yeah, so we'll take a look at the Rialto game.
I
Um,
think that's fair. I think I just find it hard to believe that, in gold, it shouldn't be there should be a way for me to at least make it a close game.
yeah, for sure.
Um, I used to do a lot of swapping, a lot of changing, trying to match tank to comp to this to that.
Hmm.
Um, it was kind of just a waste of time. I definitely wasn't getting better at anything either.
Yep. And so
So
you wanted to limit your hero pool.
unless I'm like hardcore feeding, have no idea what to do, I pretty much play Winston and then a little bit of Rhine or Sigma if I those are my like viable other tanks, I would say,
Hmm.
to a some okay-ish level. So
Well, you're
yeah, I've been I've
definitely
been
a hardcore tank in terms of like there's tanks that get punished more easily than others, and Ryan and Winston are definitely on one end of that spectrum, and
yeah,
it's
that's
not a
fair
great
enough.
one. But it's good to have like those three heroes. Sigma as well is quite strong, I would say, and he's less like that. Like can be punished for mistakes so hard and fast. But it's good to have like three that you can swap between because sometimes they're just running something that doesn't work. If you're like a Diva one trick
Hmm.
playing into that beam comp, you're gonna have a horrible
That's
time.
worse than me right there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's good to have something you can swap between, but still limiting it where you're not just like you know where you're still learning something and you're actually improving on core aspects of specific characters.
That makes
Um,
sense.
Anything you want to tell me about this game before we go through it that you can remember from it?
So I think I just played this game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, okay, so this doesn't become a huge issue later on, but one of the biggest things about this is when I'm on defense and there's a widow that comes right out of spawn and pretty much stands right next to spawn, I don't know how to deal with that. It just feels like it's not worth it for me to go up there. I'm gonna get my ass kicked
Yeah,
or something.
it's a little deep. What do you think hinders you from going that deep in, looking at
Um,
the team
I,
compositions?
well, I know that the diva can pretty much turn around and beam me. Widow can just pop back into spawn and take no real damage.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it opens up my own team to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Retaliation. I feel like I'm like way out fighting in the middle of nowhere against a widow that's probably just gonna live anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and they get to walk on my team instead. Something like that.
Yeah, I think those are good points. I think another one would be also that your support lineup is what it is. If you're playing something like an Ana Brig and they can sit, why can't I draw? That's odd. Um, if you're playing like an Ana Brig and they were sitting on the high ground and just able to keep LOS of you, then you can get further in. I'm not sure why this won't let me draw. This is odd. Maybe I'll just reload it really quickly. But yeah, with your Kiri Lucio, it becomes more of a there we go. Becomes more of a condition for you to be able to play within LOS of her, which would be sort of not really much further than that line.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's interesting. I think we'll see how it goes out, but a lot of I would say in this elo, a big thing will be your target priority. And if we're looking at their team composition, you've got really good dive target here, and you've got another one in Mercy as well, and sometimes Genji. Moira's got a fade, so that's a cooldown that you would have to track to be able to know you could commit to going in on her. And Diva is something that would be difficult and sort of counters you, so trying to stay away from her. a big thing will be avoiding tanks in general. They're the last thing that you want to be shooting because you do such little against them, especially tanks that have armor.
Mm-hmm.
So in this situation, it might be a good idea that unless your Kiri wants to play super aggressively, you're sort of biding your time until the payload gets somewhere like here, where Widow might start to look to go up here or play more
Yeah,
aggressively.
yeah, yeah. There's a lot of times I feel this way, like outside of just the Widow situation, where the high ground above the payload's path isn't too farther down.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels bad to give them all that space until they get to a point where I can just drop. I think there's I can't think of a good example off the top of my head. This is kind of one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Until that payload gets to at least a little bridge, I feel like it's not as great for me. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, we'll take a look. We'll see how we can play around and try and find our dive targets.
Okay.
Time for launch.
Mm.
I might just say, I think you can just sit here. I think you can just sit here. This is good doing like some pre-fight scouting, but I think there's no real reason for you to just to reposition right now. I think where you are is like a really good starting spot. I like it. Gives you an opportunity to just drop onto cart without using your dive. And so I think just sit for now. Try not to take too much damage. Whenever you're doing that charge shot, you want to make sure that you're not getting out poked. So like Widows, Hanzos, Ashe, Kiri, stuff like that, where they get more
Does
damage
that
out of
mean
you.
to never poke them, or just not poke them when they're not looking kind of situation?
Poke them when they're not looking, or poke someone who can't do much about it, like a Moira. She
Yeah,
tickles you, and she's not
yeah,
going to
fair
get much
enough.
from it. Whereas like a
That's
Widow
fair.
getting a headshot on you right now, that's going to give her ult charge, cause you to like just chill for a second, and cause Kiri to have to turn and heal you.
That's fair. I guess what I was thinking about this was like I thought the Devo was gonna boost into my face right there. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I've seen that so much. I was like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna. I guess I should make her force me out, but
I
yeah,
mean,
that's
if that's something you're worried
that's kind of
about, that's cool. I would just then like rotate the way you did, or you can sit on the edge of the balcony here, so that if
oh,
she
so they
pushes
can
you,
get
she
heals.
pushes you backwards. Um, but otherwise, if you get to this point, I would just sit on the corner now. I wouldn't use the jump to get up here. If I was going to jump
I see.
somewhere, I would jump over to this high ground,
Okay,
just so you're not under threat of that happening again.
that's valid.
That's cool.
You know how I can reduce the streaming quality on Discord a little bit? I'm kind of getting
Is it
it's
bad
like
frames?
it's a little bit laggy
Oh,
to be
okay, I can
honest.
probably change
Just
that.
a tiny bit.
Um, stream quality. Oh yeah, I'll put it down to that, and hopefully that'll make it
I think
smoother.
that's fine. Okay,
Cool.
thank you.
No worries. Oops. Alright.
Yeah, that's better.
I like this position. You get to walk up, find the Widow. Unlucky on the jump. Just nicked that
Totally messed
pole.
up.
Yeah, we don't want to be shooting the tank so much. We want to be looking for other people. I'm just going to turn down my game volume, it's a bit loud. Um, I liked this engage and force the Genji out, and then I think you just sit on cart for a second here till you get jump, and then you jump the Mercy.
I know I'm not supposed to peel on a Winston, but sometimes I feel like I can just body block some damage. I thought he was gonna definitely die in that corner. Probably still not a great call, but
You thought the Genji was going to dive the corner?
no. Our soldier who's in that corner right now,
Mm-hmm.
I thought he was about to get killed, and I was gonna be like, I can't. I know I can't peel really. I thought I could just go help and distract, which is kind of when I went out there.
Yeah, I think
Probably should have stayed.
I just think unless you have a kill threat, so if like there was another DPS diving with you to kill that Moira, you're probably not going to be able to save him.
Yeah,
I
that's fair.
think peeling by going backwards is like super rare, super situational. For the most part, you're better off if he's going to die. Just think I'm going to go get another kill so we're even, rather than try and save his life.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Cool. What do you think you could have done differently here?
I felt there was this moment like right here where I started getting really indecisive,
Mm-hmm.
where I wanted to go. I was like, I want to go back line, but she's right there and uh, messing on my team. So I go back, and then I think about going back, and I don't, and I keep going on her. Then I
Mm.
use bubble on her, which doesn't turn into much.
Yeah,
Yeah, something like
it's
that.
a really tough trade, tank trade for you, Monkey into Diva, because she does a lot to your HP and you do nothing to hers. So a lot of the times, if you're going onto a Diva, she's going to be able to force your bubble really easily, and then that's going to neuter your aggressiveness for like a dive. So like right then, or just like seeing the Mercy Beam, I'd just be, even if you're peppering her with charge shots, if she's out of your taser length,
Hmm.
then just be doing that just to make her panic.
I guess I turned around and I couldn't see anyone for the moment that I turned around. Maybe I should have spent more time looking.
Hmm.
But yeah.
Or
Okay.
just go sit
Yeah.
on cart, because then you give your Kiri a place to swift step to if she's going to lose that 1v1. And the Lucio has speed, he can take care of himself.
That's fair enough. I didn't think about that.
That's a good position. You're threatening. And I think right now, or a little further up, could you just sit here?
Huh. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think.
I guess I was gonna get chased off by Diva, maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know if I necessarily need that in the moment, but
I think your Kiri's alive and healthy, so she should be able to peel for you if you're here. And if she can't, then you can back out. Um, but think about what do you think this high ground is good for?
I mean, it's really good for dropping onto the pathway where the Mercy, the Widow are, the Moira is.
Hmm.
I can probably even drop on where Tracer is. That's like a really nice central high ground for
Yeah,
me for sure.
yeah. It has good cover from this main sight line. You have opportunities to go down either side, depending on which choke they
Hmm.
walk through. And what about what the space means to them?
The space, the high ground that I'm on, I
Hmm.
guess it's really threatening for them. Diva has to go get me, or someone has to come get me off there,
How
like
would
that.
how would they use it? Say they forced you out. Why would they want to
Oh,
force you
that's
out?
like Widow would snipe all day from right up there,
Yeah, right.
I
Like
suppose.
that's really important space for them, because her back here, well look at her POV. She's got like nothing to look at right now. The soldier's the only one in the LOS. So like
You're right about
that
that.
high
Yeah.
ground is
Okay.
super important to them. So it's really high value for you to occupy it. And if D.Va does want to force you out, then you can just drop and sit underneath on this corner. And then you listen
I
out
see.
if you hear like Widow's, because she's got like heels on or something, like it's super loud. If you hear her coming up, you just jump up, or you can even jump up here and then get her from behind if she's peeking. Something like that, right? So
That makes sense. Yeah.
sometimes we can be obsessed with like always needing to be shooting something, always needing to go in on something. Sometimes like your DPS is about to take this 1v1 with Tracer, force her out or kill her. You just need to be sitting here and denying that Tracer from getting any support.
Okay.
Because
I
the
gotcha.
Curie will be able to help Junkrat win this 1v1 if she's not concerned about, oh shit, my monkey's going in, I need to come over here. And like Lucio's like, oh, monkey's going in, I'll go in as well. You can
I see. I guess
sometimes,
I'm drawing my team into a fight that we don't have to be in right now.
yeah, right. Because they have walls as well. Like your team doesn't want to peek right now. They don't really want to
That's
go in
true.
with you.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
I probably would have aggroed on that Mercy. I probably would have committed to that.
Jumped right in.
Yeah, you got Primal. Primal is pretty much a free ticket to go do whatever you
That's
want.
true. That's true. That's fair.
Oh, unlucky. Didn't quite have
Should have
jump.
jumped.
That's good. Still plenty of time to touch, but our team got a bit staggered, so we'll just chill. We're beating in anyway. I like it. Nice. So good. 0 cooldowns used. Got rid of the Widow. Love it. I'd say a little preemptive on the Primal. Just a little bit. Probably could have got a jump in on wherever the Tracer had recalled to, or on a support, and then Primal. Gotten that
Oh, that makes
impact
sense.
damage.
I felt like I was on the wrong side of the shield in the cart.
Yeah, where
That
you
I
weren't
wanted to
getting
use the shield
support.
some more and couldn't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Not to justify the early primal, that's a fair point.
How'd you feel about this Primal? Looking back at it
Terrible,
now.
I thought maybe originally it was pretty good, like nice and early, but I just feel like I didn't do that much with it. I guess I got their supports to back up, maybe that's worth something, but
Yeah, D.Va
I
got
don't know.
like half health. I just think at some points, like here and before, we were playing a lot of disruption, as I think at the moment, given their team comp is not like a brawl or something that wants to stay really tight in it, like playing on a Rhine or something, where like spreading them out
Mm-hmm.
creates a lot of chaos. I think you can really try and focus on isolating one person. You know, maybe it's Moira and you force out a Fade and her orb, you know, forcing out cooldowns.
I see. Yeah, I felt like I did a whole lot of nothing. Maybe there was like an initial burst of value, and then I feel like it was a lot of nothing.
Yeah, that's okay though. That's okay. You learn more from using it than not using it.
At some point, I'd love to get like a good primer on Primal as a whole, in terms of not there's like a technique part of it that I got to work on, I know, but like where, when, how.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that would be helpful.
yeah, for the most part, when you get Primal, it's like whatever your normal engage would be, you just get to go do that anywhere, or you get to do it like super aggressively and early.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can extend it, or you can use it as like a survivability tool. Like right now, I just need to live because my team is doing something. Like in that beam comp, maybe like right now, I just need to live and just absorb all this pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's pretty pretty like for the most part, it's pretty reactionary. You know, you're not really like jumping in and using primal mid jump. It's sort of just to, like I say, to extend that dive, or to like, you know, solo some person. Like say Bap Windows, you just go primal him, get him away from his window.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we're similar to to the high ground before with engages. I think we're also just rushing our jumps just a little bit. I think like in a moment like this, which forced out recall, that's cool. I think just like turn now and just sort of look. Just take a second to just see and look at what's around. Because
Mm-hmm.
yes, these two are right in front of you, but behind them is a widow who's not got a mercy and quite separate from her team. I think you could dive her and either kill her or the Moira would be forced to coalescence to keep her alive.
Is that the health bar next to the Moira over there
Yep.
that I'm not seeing that well? Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't see her at all, if I'm
yeah.
being honest.
Yeah, and it's sometimes just like in the heat of the moment. But I think if you can get to a point over here where you forced out recall, just sit in cover a bit and just survey and then see like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'll go on her. Or you might even be able to find the tracer and now she doesn't have recall. You can just one tap her with a jump.
That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And same like here, like get to this point, maybe walk up to that plant that's in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and then just see. You might not even have to jump, to be honest. You might just be able to walk on this widow. She's playing very aggressively. And the end result of you not constantly peppering this widow is the fact that your Kiri just got headshot by her, like giving her opportunities to find value. It's pretty much like whenever you see her, unless you're like no health and she's way too deep for you to go on, then it's good just to occupy her attention. It's like, this is good. It's just a shame that Kiri got picked early and your team didn't have this sustain to last against the rest of them. Yeah, unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, let's say, like, oh, that's when you jump. I'd say I would have gotten out, bubbled this corner, and then tried to walk out, and then you have jump if you need to. Probably just need to
I'm thinking I could
recognize.
have gone upstairs too. I feel like I maybe had more, a little bit more time.
Yeah, yeah.
Rushed. Yeah, fair
Because
point.
what do you think the situation is at like? Actually, where I had before was good. At like this point,
The situation, how do you mean?
so Kiri's on her way back from spawn, and Junkrat and
Oh,
Lucio
just
are dead.
overall. I mean, the big thing I know is that we're down at least two people, I think,
Hmm.
in this moment. And I was just once trying to stall the card out so I could get my team back and contest again, something like that. But I feel like I shouldn't have even jumped in here in hindsight. I feel like I should have gone like top left, picked up my team and come back in or something. I
Yeah,
feel like I had more time in hindsight.
yeah. There you go. That's good. That's what I was looking for. Just like it's 40 seconds, so you're in one fight territory,
Mm-hmm.
and the payload still has the distance in front of you to travel, so you can just sort of chill and then contest it when it's there. Because what's the difference between
Yeah.
the cart when it's here and when it's on the platform there?
Yeah, you know, you're 100%. I probably didn't even need to jump. Maybe I could have just stayed back there too.
Yeah, potentially.
I'm thinking about it.
And there's just way more cover for you to just sit around and like live with your Kiri healing you and
You're
contest.
so right about that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I see it.
Yeah, that's cool. So yeah, just probably just a common theme between some of these comments is just taking our time and just assessing what's in front of us and picking the best option. And now they got a Reaper,
Mm-hmm.
classic. Also a minor thing if you're trying to live, turn around, look at the ground so Diva can't headshot you.
Oh.
Or, you know, characters that can headshot can't headshot you. Just a little trick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, that's a good one.
Oh god, Brick Mercy, huh?
Beggars can't be choosers. Silver Q and gold. And console, no less. So,
How is the console player base? Like, do you get matches still, like, quickly?
oh, I think the console player base exploded with Overwatch 2. I
Really?
think there's more people in console than ever before. I mean, there's like console issues that get fixed more often. Like Juno was released with a aim assist. thing that the same one that Ana has,
Yep.
which allies get more aim assist strength if the targets are close by. Things
Ah,
like that. I think Overwatch 2 has been really good to console, to be honest.
that's cool. That's cool.
hmm It's really nice, actually. I think it's hilarious, but I actually completely didn't see the Reaper when he TP'd. Or I ignored him. I'm not sure.
Oh, back on the staircase.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at it now and I'm like, I must be idiotic.
Nice. I'd be a bit cautious about walking into a Reaper, like face tanking a Reaper, but for the
Yeah,
most part,
fair
you got it
point.
done. This is cool. I like this. Good poke. A little dangerous to W into that. It
Fair
might
enough.
it might
I
cost you or someone else right now. We'll see. What are you gonna say?
I was thinking, I wanted to make sure the space between the bubble and the other person was in between. So I was kind of trying to figure out which way they were gonna walk, kind of thing.
Mm.
But I definitely W'd right into them, so you're right about that.
Yeah, we'll
Or the
just
equivalent of Wing.
Mercy can GA to you, like so. It can be easier to GA as well if you hold your distance rather than get closer to her.
That makes sense. I meant to go back up.
Will we live? But see, this is the same thing as the ledge that we're talking about, baiting your teammates a little bit. Let's watch this
All
break,
right,
because I reckon she goes in.
this is a great example of maybe what I mentioned earlier, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
if I go jump on the Widow, I feel like we're in no man's land somewhere. I probably kill her because of how far she is from spawn and help and everything else, but I don't know. They're, I guess, in the middle of chewing up my team, so should I be going out there? Or should I have gone earlier when she was right next to her team? I don't know, like, I just feel like I missed the timing to try to get her, or I don't know what the timing is.
I mean, you definitely can't go in this far. You're pretty hamstrung right now and playing really close to your team with your heals.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And we don't have primal either, so like it's impossible really to go over the other side of the bridge. Does she get the pick on the jump? I think everyone that dies is in this room, right? Oh no, she does. She gets 3 body shots. I mean, it's just not your fault. Like, a Junkrat's dying to a Widow in this area, like, you can't help these things.
Yeah.
But I think a result of us, like, Wing in and getting to, like, half-ish health, this Brig's going to come in and try and int to help us.
Yeah, so what should I do? Should I have just left, backed up, just dropped, something like that, instead of popping bubble and staying or something?
So,
Is that what you mean?
yeah, well, with the thing with Reaper, not Reaper, Monkey's counters is that they do exist, like Diva Reaper and stuff, like they do counter you, but they're not as mobile as you. So if he wants to dedicate a teleport up to this high ground, if you just play your distance, maybe then you just drop onto cart, because this high ground doesn't do a lot for them, right? Like, the high ground before we were talking about is valuable to Widow.
Mm-hmm.
This bit in here really isn't, because
Yeah. It
you're
doesn't look
not
like
at the point
anything.
where you're playing back on this checkpoint. She doesn't get any angle except for maybe through the doorway
Oh,
down here. So
okay.
this
This
doesn't,
is
it's not a lot of value to them. Obviously, like, if your whole team is stuck down here and then Reaper and Diva have a free drop onto cart, it's not ideal. But at the same point, you're just hoping that if they're dedicating all the resources to get up here, if you're able to just kite that aggression and then maybe go in once you have primal, or, you know, go in when you're more health and then use bubble to claim the space, and your Cass can walk up with a damage boost. It's like that's the most you can control as a tank.
that's fair. Fair.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think, yeah, if they want to commit so hard to this, I think you can just drop point or play on this corner And if you're playing on this corner, your team's not really going to be playing in positions where this Widow's going to get any value either.
Theoretically.
Yeah, you'd hope not.
But I hear you.
She's dead. Yeah, that's all good. We get out. I mean, yeah, that fight just got away from you. Just from the early pick on 2 of your teammates. Forces Wraith form. Probably a waste of a bubble there.
Yep.
I was gonna say it's a little premature with the primal again, but it's hard because you could get chunked so easily.
Do you think I should have just not followed?
Yeah, I think so. I think
it was a wasted bubble. I just thought he would start shooting. You know, if he decided to use Wraith to stay up here, he was gonna just start shooting.
Well, if he does, then absolutely like respond with bubble, because he's used Wraith. But if we're talking about like Winston not having a lot of kill threat, and like if he's gonna die, you're probably gonna need dive DPS to help you, or some DPS to help you, especially when he gets health back from shooting you. I think especially once you've used bubble, this is pretty much guaranteed you would die or get your primal forced if you had primal, which is sort of what happens. I think alternatively, if you're just walking and you see like Mercy here, you can drop on her, and then if everyone turns to focus you, then you can primal. Or if you're hunting Widow, then you can walk up to here and then solo primal her into a corner. You know, she probably dies pretty quickly.
That's the point. That was definitely a oh shit primal.
Yeah, that's all good. It happens. It happens. Still more value, I'd say, from that one than the one before in terms of just splitting them up and cutting off their back line from helping their front line. Jesus, your Brig almost died to that D.Va squash. Yeah, we're just staggering at this point. Probably need to die a bit quicker, we might get a recontest on this, but that's all good. Team's still taking a fight though, and winning, I think. Nice. Nice. I like this.
I lost her.
Yeah, I lost her a little bit. That's all good. Still good theory. Like good decision making. The execution of it doesn't matter. We just want to be focused on like actually doing the right thing and thinking about the right thing. I like this spawn hold. Nice. Did you notice the difference in that one? That one was a lot slower and oh, I heard the Widow, I'm gonna look for her.
Yeah, I definitely thought I looked around a lot more that time.
Yeah, and it looks good, right? Is she gonna die? Not quite. Or do you get Soldier? I mean, she does die, and you turned everyone's attention around. Oh, that Mercy's fuming.
I thought I bubbled it in time, and I definitely missed it by a second there.
Yeah, it happens. That's funny though. She would probably be fuming, assuming you had it the whole time.
Yep.
Nice, nice. Nice, disengage over the roof. I like it. for our Brig getting wards. Nice primal. I like this one. Yeah, if we hadn't lost that soldier right at the end, like I think he was maybe one or two more hits, that was like a super solid primal. Because you needed to live right now, like you're trying to survive until your supports get back to use their ultimates. I like it. And probably removing soldier from that fight helps your team just clean up the diva and stuff first and clear what's on cart.
That makes sense.
Yeah, nice defense, nice defense.
This looks like the best team in the soul.
Any questions so far?
I think maybe one generic question is how to decide what space is important to hold. Like with Widow, it's maybe a little bit more straightforward, dude. And I'm hearing you explain it, and it makes sense, which is like places where she can snipe everyone from are places she wants and places I don't want to give her. But it doesn't feel all that obvious with all characters. Like if they're not really hit scan, for example, or you have an Echo, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
What space do I want to take away from the other team? Like I'll take this another step, which is like against some teams where it feels like there's no one you can really jump on, like you're playing like Tracer, Echo, Kiriko, Moira, Diva, something like that.
Sure, yep.
There's no good targets to actually jump on that much. Like, is it about space? And then what space do I want to go after? You know, that kind of something like that, basically.
Yeah, I'd say if it's not super obvious, in terms of like a Widow being on like specific high grounds or Hanzo or whatever, then I think worry more about yourself and think if they're not someone who values high ground, then they probably have to use a lot more resources to get up to it. Like people who typically enjoy high ground, say Genji for a flank, he can walk lame. Hanzo for a like flank or high ground off angle, he can walk lame. Widow has grapple. Echo has flight, right? High grounds help them to just find a way to get onto your team with the least amount of visibility. So without that sort of stuff, the characters that don't necessarily need it but can value from it, like your Casses, like your Tracers, whatever, they'll have to use resources to get up there. So if you're sitting up there, they have to use resources just to get onto you.
So you take away their setup, basically.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, exactly. Because like anyone can really use it. It's just more obvious in cases like this where like Widow just can see everyone from up here. But by the same token, if you're attacking, the difference between jumping from here and jumping from here is all the different sight lines that can see you from main compared to like up here. Like if you hug this wall, no one on that back high ground can see you. Whereas like once you're past here, they can all see you. And it's a straight shot. Even like diving from here to here and then just hiding in here, like they're going to be like, shit, there's a monkey sitting up there. Like, I'm going to favor this side, you know? So sometimes it's more about you and your survivability, being able to walk and then jump on a high ground or drop and then jump back out. If it's not like a really obvious case of like, oh, Widow wants to be up here, so I'm going to occupy this space.
Okay.
Lucia's coming with us. I like it. It's a cool rotation. Nice. So good. Clean as. I like this. I might have gone for the junk there, but I guess Moira died last, so she's probably with him. Mercy's fine though, this is cool. What do you think I want to say, having watched like from here onwards?
Well, for one, I agree with you. I probably should have jumped on the junk. I just feel like I'm in no man's land right now. You know, middle of nowhere, jump on cooldown, not in cover. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not doing anything at the moment.
I think part of that is just being a bit indecisive on who to go on, and I think
Fair.
going into this, just hold tab, look at their team comp, and then decide, hey, I'm just gonna bully Junk, or I'm just gonna bully Hanzo, or I'm just gonna bully Mercy. And like the whole time, so like you jumped on this Mercy, then she flew away. I think you sent a taser shot to the Junkrat. It's like jump on the Mercy, got a shooting him, shooting Hanzo.
Should have
like,
gone to Mercy.
yeah, just keep following her, keep annoying her, and then like get a shot on her. Like just keep looking at her. Because I think now, in my opinion, I think we're more in no man's land now. In terms of we don't know what we're looking at. We're in the middle. We're surrounded by things.
Yeah. I'm completely lost at this moment in time.
Yeah. That's alright. We'll get out, reset. Wait for our Lucio. Really tough support lineup this entire match, to be honest. It's a shame that Kiri went away, but
This is a console thing, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Some supports are just a lot easier to play. Lucio, Break, Moira, Mercy would be like the main contingency there.
Wow,
So,
yeah.
you just get a lot of it.
Interesting. I would have thought with the aim assist there'd still be some, like Ana would be decent and stuff, but
Honestly not bad. It's just like the going from like low skill level to high skill level, like it ramps really fast in console.
yeah, right.
I would say. I think it's just hard to aim on a joystick, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
the minutia of movement is tough.
Yeah,
I feel that
and
way
doing
anyway.
like a 180 flick or something on dive targets as an Ana would be tricky to do.
I mean, people do it. There's some really talented console players.
Oh, for sure.
There's a whole server of them now.
For
So
sure.
lots of servers. So yeah. Anyway,
Nice. I like that. A little scared with the bubble usage. A little preemptive.
you didn't think I was gonna get chunked by the Junkrat for sure? I guess that's what I was thinking about. I'm like, oh, I'm about to jump into face first into the whole team.
Junkrat does a lot of
Onto the back of the
damage,
team.
but like a one shot and a conk is like your armor, but that's, he's only got one more conk. You'd probably have to hit 3 more shots and a conk still. I just think right now when you use it, he's now like, oh, that's a bubble, I'll run away. Whereas if you get to like 200 HP or something, if you have a bubble, you can sort of bait him into still staying, and it can extend your dive long enough for your Lucio to come get you. Or like, because I'm even thinking like, the second you have jump, you jump closer into the point, and I'm still looking at the Mercy a lot of the time.
If I guess are you trying to say like my dive was really shallow? I could have jumped in and used bubble
Yeah, I think so.
in the middle of their team instead of in the back line here. I guess you're right. I could only pretty much poke after I did that too.
Yeah, right. It sort of stops your dive from going any further.
Yeah.
And bubble's also obviously good for splitting LOS. Like they either got to play inside or they got to play a one side.
That makes sense. Yeah.
because yeah, then we get in. But for the most part, the fight was won. Yeah, no other criticisms there. I like that dive. Coming from the off angle and taking the least amount of damage is good. Oh, we're going in. Unlucky. Oh shit. Oh, the Bastion counters out.
And the Bastion, yeah, I didn't even realize the Bastion had showed up, to be honest. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I like it. Your team was going in, you went with them.
Felt like house money after we got the point.
Nice bubble, nice bubble. So yeah, I guess what we were looking at with the last one was it was a little early for also where you were. Like if you were in the middle of them, it wouldn't matter how early it was.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting to get the feeling that I'm just really inconsistent with it.
Not super inconsistent. I think there's more to be more improvement to be found by the engage stuff we're talking about. The bubble you'll sort of just put in better places when the dives seem more
I see what you mean.
intentional.
Yeah. Bad bubbles like the effect, not the cause.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. On the Mercy. Ignore the tank on the Mercy. Oh, the Junkrat's good. No fade, keep hunting her. This is cool, just live. I think Bubble's gonna disappear. Oh no, not quite.
I feel like that bubble didn't get me anything.
Yeah, that's cool that you're picking that
No,
up. I
this
was
is
gonna say just yeah, they weren't gonna commit to that fight, so
If D.Va turned around and shot me, then maybe, but otherwise, no.
or if the Bastion ult was on you, that sort of stuff.
Yep, that makes sense.
You can sort of look at Bubble as like committing to a dive. So if you are committed to going in, then sure. Whereas, or if they're committed to denying it, then sure. But otherwise, it's probably not worth the investment, and it'll just make your next dive not able to be that.
I guess, yeah, no, I hear you. I guess what I'm thinking is like, if I'm getting attacked, I'm better off using bubble and running away than dying, or like staying there or something along those lines. Which is what I think is leading to some of these bad bubbles.
Yep.
This one's alright. Maybe not the best, but you know, the last one was definitely useless.
Yeah, well, you weren't gonna dive in the next like 10 seconds, so. Nice. Massive amounts of cleave. Nice.
It's pretty much just a stagger from them.
Yeah, I was gonna say, hasn't really turned into like a proper fight since. It's just been a scrap fight. Junk is good. Stay with him. Nice, nice, nice. Nice. Yeah, clean. You like got around to all your dive targets in the last fight and didn't chase too deep either. So I liked it. Yeah, well, I think the big takeaways, like we said, sort of looking at those times when we can just sort of chill. I think. Where am I looking? I think it might be like right here.
Yeah, well, I should have pinned the corner, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Somewhere here. Yeah, just looking for those opportunities where sometimes doing less is more. And right now, we're sitting on this corner and Carter's here. We're tasing anyone who comes on it. We get an easy drop down onto it if they are killable. Because even say like a squishy walks up and soldier gets a helix on them, then they're half health. You just drop on them. You don't even need to use jump. Like just a tase and melee is probably enough. And then you just kite back out. I liked the rotations that we did around the back on our attack to get to the dive point without taking all this damage, and like the rotation we did up through here to then drop onto the Mercy or Junkrat, depending on what decision you make. They're good staging habits that you've got so far, and sometimes it's just about when we're sitting at like maybe like here and the dive target's here, instead of just seeing targets and diving in, maybe just like maybe I'll like walk to here or walk to here and then jiggle peek the corner and then I can go from there.
Yeah, one of the big themes that I guess the way you said it was being able to see what I'm diving, what's on my screen a little bit more.
Yeah.
Instead of just committing a little bit impulsively is what I feel like I'm doing.
Yeah, and a easy way to do that is to keep pressing tab and just understand who's alive and well, I guess like if they're playing Widow and you want to keep diving Widow, it's just seeing like, is Widow alive? She is? Okay, maybe I should be looking for her. Because Widow in particular as well, when you get into these like fights that are like semi over and you're trying to just clean up the last couple, that's when people stop thinking and they just idly walk out into open spaces, and Widow can get a pick and it can change a whole fight. So situations like that and just remembering who you are trying to deny can be good.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, did you have any more questions or anything else?
Can we we talked about the space thing a little bit. We talked about Prime a little bit. Do you have time to have a quick chat about the beam comp?
Yeah.
From earlier?
Yeah.
I just felt really I don't know what the time is, so if you got to run, it's all good. Especially I would say in the second half of the game, we got a little bit of we pushed the card a little bit finally after being in trouble, but I don't know. Sombra was our backline couldn't deal with the Sombra. I was in a 5-stack by the way in this game.
Oh, okay.
So we're communicating and we're talking about it. But Sombra was basically 1v2ing the backline every time she got back there. That's what it sounded like.
Right.
And then the rest of our team is very dive heavy, right? Dive heavy, or like at least be in the air somewhere.
Yep.
And so I didn't have any good targets to get on. Symmetra was beaming me into the ground. Sorry was charged up nicely, things like that.
Yeah. So was it was more just the Xayah and Sim beams, and when they swapped to Sombra that it was
there's a point we'll get all three of them. I think actually maybe there's all three right now. But the Sombra was dominating backline, and I couldn't do anything about the rest of the team.
Yep.
In relation to that, they're just hitting me in the face.
Yeah.
The backline is in their own world trying to fight off the Sombra.
I guess a little bit of macro. It would be like realistically, Sombra shouldn't be able to 1v2. So that's something that's just out of out of your control. If they really need the help and that is happening, maybe Echo goes to help them. And then you're really like talking to your Sombra about like who do you think you could go on with your Sombra here?
I mean, anyone she hacks would make my life really easy.
Yeah. Right.
Outside of Zarya.
Yeah. Well, yeah, outside of Zarya, yeah. So like any one of these three, super easy to dive once they're hacked, especially like a Lucio or Mercy. So talking a lot to your Sombra or like even if you're let's not assume that you're 5-stacking every time, just watching people, to be honest. Watch your Sombra through the walls. Don't just listen to them. Sometimes they don't come at all. So watch them, see who they're going in on, and then follow it up. And also watch your backline. Like, turn around and see where your backline is playing. If you're walking up to this point, check like, oh, is my backline up here? And they only have LOS of me up to this point. If I walk down here, am I out of the LOS? Because you have a Ana, who's going to be playing longer distance. And if the Sombra's winning against the Ana, the Moira is going to be playing at the same distance as the Ana. So she's not going to be sitting on your shoulder. Either that or the Ana is going to be playing really close, in which case help her, like play a more brawly style and just W key in and then use your jump to go up for a little bit to just live for a second. Or to
I feel like I tried that at some point, and it's just Zarya Symmetra in my face. Yeah, I feel like I tried to frontline a little bit. It didn't go great for me.
Yeah, it can be tricky with a Sim. That it won't, but it can be tricky with a Sim because she's very tank busty. But I think like those are your two options. You're either like playing super heavy on like trading backlines and like, okay, our backline's gonna die, I'm gonna go kill theirs with Sombra. Or you're really trying to babysit and you can just like demand resources at that point. Because
that's fair.
Outside of like Sombra's gonna be somewhat self-sufficient, so Echo's the only other one that really needs care outside of you. And if you can get, let's say, maybe I'll look for a different point. You go ahead.
I'm noticing like so these are like friends I play with. They're all on console, similar age group, similar skill level, things like that. You know, I'm realizing that the whole trading backline thing doesn't go well in terms of like team morale perspective. Like, you know, like I feel like pro teams talk about this. That's the whole point. You know, you survive longer than their backline is the whole game.
Yep.
You know, half the time. But I feel like in when I'm doing competitive with my friends, it's no one really wants to be traded for, you know? Everyone wants to be in on the win. That kind of a mentality.
Yeah.
I feel like I often feel that pressure as Winston because my skill set doesn't really align with that kind of value consistently. Yeah. I guess so.
It's tricky. I that seems like a thing on the support side that they just have to understand, like that's sometimes the win condition. Like I was I think the position I've scrimmed the most in was flex support, so Ana and stuff. And sometimes you just have matchups where you're gonna die, so may as well get a big anti out of it, you know, stuff like that.
That makes sense.
It's unavoidable, but you try and look to get the most value for your team to win the team fight in the time that you've got. So yeah, I mean, in the sense that I was talking about brawling as well, maybe it's like W keying up to this point, or maybe I'll go a bit further to talk about the Tsar, like Wing to this point, pressuring the Tsar, forcing out a bubble, and then maybe you just jump into this point, and then you bubble off, and then try and split them like this way, or if you can just like W key past her and then bubble to try and force her to either commit to playing in front or to really kite out. And like, I'm not saying that to burst the Tsar because it's pretty hard to do, but if you can do that and sort of split them up, then it's easier to isolate targets like Sim if she's playing really close knit to the Zarya, and you can't like go on the backline with your Sombra. that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
This point of the fight is, I think, the farthest we get. Never get back here.
oh yeah,
Um, it's just stuff from here. I hear what you're saying. It sounds like there is not easy Winston solutions for this. I mean, like in a theoretical world where we're running, I think we run on a break at some point.
hmm
I guess I should be able to play with the idea that they're fine with the Sombra. Because I hear you. Because if I like really go hard on trading backlines, I think I could,
yeah,
especially with Sombra help.
yeah. I mean,
I'm
it,
pretty confident about that.
it'd be different if they had like a massive dive. Then it's like, sometimes it's just tricky to win that matchup. But Sombra realistically should not be able to 1v2. Like if there's two of you, you should be able to outlive how long
Hmm.
Sombra can stay in. Like you should be able to force her out, not kill her, but you should be able to force her out. Um,
I haven't really seen the game from my support's perspective yet. Maybe I should, as a
yeah,
side note. But um, I don't know. The biggest complaint is they kept getting erect and we were out in, I don't know, a different world, playing a different game from them.
yeah. I guess another thing you can do is sort of walk out slowly. Like you can help. Like right now, like it wouldn't surprise me. Like, say you're not here, it wouldn't surprise me if a Sombra got a pick from them because they're right out in the open. But maybe you can talk to your team as a shot caller in this 5 stack and walk your Ana Sombra to your Ana Moira to this point, and then you can walk out the doorway and they can play underneath, and they've got a mega here, stuff like that. That makes them more
Mm,
survivable. You might clear out the Sombra on the way past, like Echo just shooting randomly, you tasering around the place, stuff like that. That can decloak her and force her out, and then your supports know they've got at least 5 to 10 seconds of uninterrupted fight.
yeah, that makes sense. I'm gonna have to think about that one some more.
Yeah, that's about as much as you can control, to be honest.
I'm guessing swapping is the much easier solution here, right? Like I feel like even a Reinhardt would have been easier on this, even though with the Symmetra it's gonna be bad, but
Yeah,
you know.
I mean you can walk on Zar pretty well as Ryan. If you're
Hmm.
trying to mess with the Sombra, then I don't know, like a higher fire rate that can decloak like an Orisa is tough, or a Ram.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, Sim is tricky regardless.
Bad Sims are really easy to play against too.
Mm,
They're not even particularly problematic, but good ones. Anyway, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, cool.
Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, I will. Unless you got any other questions.
Oh, I could ask questions till the sun goes down or the sun goes up, depending on where you live.
Yeah, sun goes down just about. But I will surmise the main points and I'll post them in the channel that I made in the server.
Yep.
And then yeah, you let me know. Obviously, you're going on your trip, so enjoy that. Try and get your practice in while you can, and then use the time as a bit of a refresher.
Hmm. Sounds good. Generally you say like a 2-3 week gap if I want to keep getting more VODs. Is that right?
It's up to the player. I've had players that like doing it weekly and just constantly instilling these things. But I think it's up to the player. I think usually I definitely wouldn't do more than weekly, but like I think fortnightly is good. Like it gives you time to absorb and actually instill what we talk about into your gameplay, and then notice if there's a change. Sometimes you can be incorporating it, but it's not a noticeable difference that I can say it's handled, and like we can talk about something else. Because
Okay.
sometimes then talking about something else can just distract from the last one. So it's up to you.
Hmm.
You might feel like, oh, like that makes a whole lot of sense and it clicks straight away. Like that can definitely happen sometimes.
Hmm.
Um, and you want to get it done. But you could also be like, I think I still need practice on this, or maybe I need more examples of this, and we need to talk about the same thing. It just depends. So you let me know if you're feeling it, and we can set up another one.
All right. Sounds good. I really appreciate all the time so far. Thank
No
you.
worries, no worries. It was a good VOD, very good VOD.
Appreciate you.
All good. Take care, man.
You too, man. Catch you later.
Catch ya.